Hi YouTube, my name is James and I just got top 32 at NAWCQ with Swordsoul. So we can get into the deck. For the Swordsouls, I played 3 Moe, 2 Taya, 3 Longyan, and 3 Ecclesia. This is all pretty standard. Some people just play 1 Taya and 2 Ecclesia. 3 Ecclesia just comes up because it's so good going second, and 2 just comes up because sometimes you have to discard it with Longyan, and sometimes you banish it from Desires. So just having the second one comes up, but we sometimes side it out games 2 and 3 if we go second against certain decks. But overall, this is pretty standard with the deck. And then for the Tenyis, we played 3 Ashina, 3 Vishuddha, 3 Apara, and 1 Shatana. I think this is the better half of the deck. These cards just help you build so much advantage going first or second, or they help you break boards. Yeah, Vishuddha just is insane. Shatana, my personal favorite, just because it's really hard to play around because it triggers during the damage step, and it doesn't target either. And it being a level 4 water actually comes up quite a lot, just to like do funny plays. And then for the going second cards, I played 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Nibiru, and 3 Imperm. These are pretty standard, except for the Nibirus. This is not very commonly played in the main deck right now. So most people don't actually play around this game 1. Especially if they're playing a deck like this. They just play into it and they lose. Even if they're playing something like Despia, they just play into it and they lose. That's what happened to one of my Despia opponents. Game 1 when he tried to OTK me, and I had this to, save myself. And I pretty much played against combo all day, so this was pretty good. Yeah, these just combo well with the Nib, the 6 negation hand traps, and this is really good against branded fusion. So yeah, this is all pretty standard. I wouldn't change this one bit. This was the MVP all day. That's it for the hand traps. And then for the spells, with 3 Emergence, the only true 1-card starter on the deck. Not much to say, it's just Rhoda, you play it at 3. Best card, it's never really dead, just because you could discard multiples if you have them off of Longyan. And yeah, if you start with this, you could try to bait out an Ash to help your better cards go through, such as your Tenyi spells, or your Desires. These cards are just really broken when they resolve. Vessel's a little bit better than Circle, but you don't want to play 3 because drawing multiples of the same Tenyi spell just sucks. 1 Circle is really good just because it helps you out Mystic Mine if they with what you have in the main deck. I didn't really get mine today. I don't think a lot of people played it for this event, but I had it just in case if it happened. These get sided out a lot games 2 and 3 if I go second, but they help a lot when with just building card advantage. Desires, not much to say. Free draw 2 in this deck. The banish 10 doesn't really matter. Followed by theoretically Insane if you go first, but I didn't really draw it a lot. And then Blackout, you just best card in the deck. You search it every time you go first. Don't search Longyan. You just try to search this. For the extra deck, I played 2 Chi-Shao. Self-explanatory. You try to make this every time you go first on the first turn. Search and Interruption. If you can't make this on the first turn, you're probably going to lose. Play 2 Baxia. The second most important card in the extra deck, helps you break boards when you go second. And it also just helps you extend by summoning from the grave. Not a hard once per turn on either effect. Amazing card. I might even play 3 in the future, but so far 2 has been working out very well. One Yazi. This helps with playing around back row and token collector, which is pretty important since I have to use this to kill a few collectors today, or when the event happened. One Chalfang helps you play through Nibiru, and it's really good against Drytrons or any deck with light monsters. And when it's popped with, you can pop it with a Blackout to search a hand trap or a Ecclesia for follow-up. And like usually, like searching a hand trap is just insane since it's so hard to play around. It's just like they have to deal with your whole board and it's searched hand trap. It's just amazing. Then play 3 10s, Qixing, Baron, and Chungying. This is really good when you go first. This helps you play around cards or just play through interruptions going second. And this guy just helps you OTK or just helps you get around like cards with funny protection effects because his effect does not target, and he can also become very, very big. So he's just very important to have for those OTKs. And played 1 Berserker. This card I think is really underrated just because going first, it's a really good disruption just because it could banish like cards that normally wouldn't be able to be interacted with, like a long gun or something like that. And going second, you like a lot of the times, like you can just bait out your opponent's interruptions, make this attack over something else, and after he becomes very big, he's just really hard to deal with. And on top of that, he is an interruption on the crackback. So this guy's just insane when you go second. Very underrated in my opinion. Played 3 Monk. This card is really good. The Berserker can actually be linked off into a Monk. A lot of people don't actually know that. I caught my Marincess opponent off guard since I turned my Berserker into a second Monk, so he had no cards to target with Marincess Wave, and I was able to out his board because of it. And for the other links, played 1 Shaman. The standard helps you with extending, and it also helps you play a little bit and build some advantage, pop a few cards under barrier if you get hit by it. And then, for my opinion, my favorite card in the extra deck, the Lina. I think, out of everything in the extra deck, I think I made this, like, after the Qixia and Baxi, I think I made this, like, maybe, like, the 3rd or 4th most. Like, I've honestly made this 4 times more than I made Baron. This card is just insane. It mostly comes up, if you special summon a Shuna or if you Nibiru your opponents, or with any of the light synchros, you can just crash it to search Ecclesia, Nibiru, or Veiler, depending on what you need in that situation. And then you have a clear board to summon all of your Tenyis. She also comes up in the Swordsoul Mirror, of which I played 4. So that's it for the extra deck. And then for the side deck. So going into this event, I expected a lot of combo. So I played a ton of board breakers because I was just really scared of decks like Adventure Dragon Link, which a lot of the good players were on. So I played 3 Droplets, 3 Dark Ruler. These cards are really good. I played against a Dragon player who made Baron, Hot Red, Savage, and Whirlwind, and this just traded with 4 of his cards. So this was just insane. Played 3 Lightning Storm and 1 Reboot. These are really good against Swordsoul and Despia, since against either of those decks you usually just want to hit the back row and then everything else is super easy to deal with whatever else you have. Or if they just leave, or if it's Swordsoul and they leave everything in attack position, this just wins you the game usually. This card, we just sided in against anything that isn't, that crazy of a combo deck going first, anything that's like mid-range, just because they would probably side a lot of going first cards against you that shut you down. So this card just gives you a chance to win if they have one of those cards. And for the going first cards, I played 3 anti-spell. Best going first card this format because of all of the spells we have, like Rights, and then going second, they're probably going to have Dark Rulers or Lightning Storms against you, so this is just a must in this deck. And then the Icy Tech that I decided on the night before the event were 2 different dimension grounds. In theory, this was supposed to be a better version of D-Barrier that can also be played against decks that make Link monsters like Marincess, Dragon Link, or Tribrigade, or just a Punk deck, like anything like that. And even against the decks that D-Barrier would be good against, this is also pretty good because if you play against Swordsoul, all of their Tenyis would get banished, all of their Swordsoul monsters would get banished. So they can't actually use any Tenyi effects, and they can't actually gain advantage off of the Swordsoul monsters from the grave. So usually if you flip this on Swordsoul, they're not really doing much. And you definitely won't die. So yeah, that's it for the side deck. And I have a few tokens, and after that I have a few shout outs. I'd like to shout out my friend Kyle, who's behind the camera. And I'd like to shout out my friend Andrew for flying out and hanging out with us at Nationals. I'd like to shout out my friends from Indiana, Danny and Sean, for coming over. And most of all, I'd like to shout out my friend Clement for helping me finish the deck at 5 a.m. At least it was 5 a.m. for me, and he apparently drank 7 liters of alcohol the night before, and he was still able to help me build a deck. So I'm very thankful for that. All right, and last of all, I'd like to shout out everyone else on Team Armageddon. Thank you for helping me practice for this event. I couldn't have done it without you guys.